So hello guys, and welcome to another video. And Mario & Luigi Brothership is releasing in a few months, and I am extremely excited, because this is the first brand new Mario & Luigi game we're getting in nearly a decade, and also over 5 years since the last Mario & Luigi related thing we've ever gotten, with Bowser's Inside Story Remake on the 3DS, like releasing in late 2018, early 2019, depending on the region. But Mario & Luigi Brothership looks really good. And it was confirmed by Nintendo that it's being developed by former Alpha Dream devs, or at least some former Alpha Dream devs. So I think it's safe to assume that there will be a decent amount of returning features from the other games. And we already do know that like a lot of series staples are returning, like Bros attacks and various things like that, and even like some returning enemy species types. Like there's an enemy resembling a Thorb from Dream Team and one resembling a Treeville from Bowser's Inside Story. So I think there definitely is going to be quite a lot of influence from the other games. So I'm going to go through some features that I want to see in Mario & Luigi Brothership. This includes both features and things that were in the other games, or also changes of things that I want to see that were like kind of in other games that I want to see kind of changed or handled differently here. But yeah. So the first thing I want to see is returning characters, and this includes both species and like NPC characters or supporting characters, because the Mario & Luigi series is actually pretty well known to bring back like a lot of characters from previous games. This is one area where Paper Mario kind of lacks on, except for the original game in Thousand Year Door and somewhat Super Paper Mario, having a lot of continuity between each other. But Mario & Luigi has been much better with this aspect, since they bring back species like the Beanish or Brox in other games. Like Dream Team did this quite a lot, and to a lesser extent also in Partners in Time and Bowser's Inside Story, they kind of shared different species and enemy types and different things like that. And even characters as well, like with Waffle's arc between Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story, and other characters like Kylie Koopa appearing in multiple games. So I think there definitely is a pretty heavily connected continuity in the Mario & Luigi series, so I'd like to see that continued in this game. The only game that wasn't really connected is Paper Jam, and that's partially because that game was kind of held back creatively. It only seemed to pull from like main series Mario source material in Paper Mario Sticker Star. So they really weren't able to kind of connect it like the other games. But Mario & Luigi Brothership seems to be fully capable of having like new and original species on par with all the other Mario & Luigi games. So I think it's safe to assume that we will see some returning characters, or at least a decent amount of returning species. Maybe not a ton, since this is kind of taking place in like a new world or like new area. So I feel like there's going to be a bigger emphasis on new species and things, but I can't expect some to return. Like the Elite Trio, I could definitely expect them to return. And maybe even some like small appearances of different species, like the Beanish, Brox, Shelltops, Hooskies, or Hooligans. I could definitely see like the Brox returning, like Broke Monsieur. I think he could definitely return as like a supporting character in this game. And even ones like Kylie Koopa or various ones like that. We've already seen like some continuity from other games, like the Shy Guy Air Tubs kind of flying alongside Bowser in his Koopa Clown Car. So they're definitely retaining some continuity from the other games. So I could definitely see some of these characters returning. And another one that I'd love to see is Toadsworth, because Toadsworth has appeared in every other Mario & Luigi game except for Paper Jam, and he also appeared in the remakes as well. So considering the fact that this is likely being done by like former Alpha Dream devs and possibly artists as well, I think that there's definitely a more likely chance than ever that Toadsworth could return here in like a game that isn't a remake, since Mario and Luigi Dream Team. I think that would be amazing and could definitely like open up the possibilities of him returning in more games. So I feel like this game is definitely the most likely for Toadsworth to return in. But yeah. So the next thing I want to see in this game are some form of giant battles. Yes, I know they can be gimmicky, and I know there are some giant battles that can be pretty annoying. Cough, cough, the Z Keeper in Mario and Luigi Dream Team. But I think they could be good if they're handled well, and they're not too reliant on gimmicks. Because they do provide like a pretty cool spectacle, and some of the gimmicks can be fun. So I'd like to see some form of giant battles in Mario and Luigi Brothership. Like, I don't know how they do it exactly. Maybe they could do it with that ship island thing that's on the box art. I don't know. I think it would be cool if they did like some form of them. I know they had the papercraft battles in Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, but I didn't think those were very good. But if they try another new idea and they flesh it out well, I think it could work. But we'll just have to see. And another thing I want to see that's returning from games from Bowser's Inside Story onwards are the Battle Ring and Gauntlet. So this has been a mode since, like I said, Bowser's Inside Story, and basically it's a way to fight stronger versions of various bosses in the game. So kind of like the post-game bosses in the Super Mario RPG remake, and they also have like different color palettes, except for Paper Jam, because Paper Jam obviously has to be the most bland one, but they do have like cool color swaps in Bowser's Inside Story and Dream Team and everything, and they're much more difficult than their main counterparts. So I'd love to see this return in Mario and Luigi Brothership. I think it's definitely pretty likely, considering the fact that Thousand Year Door had like new super bosses, and the Mario RPG remake had the post-game bosses that I mentioned. So I definitely think it's pretty possible that we'll see like the Gauntlet or the Battle Ring to return in Brothership. But one thing that I'd like to change about it is removing the coin requirement to unlock. I don't think it was in Paper Jam, so that's definitely something that could be likely, but yeah, I just think it should be unlocked like maybe either after you beat the game or after you beat the bosses, or you'll like unlock it in a certain area, but we'll have to see. I'd really like to see this return. And another feature that I'd like to see return is hard mode from Dream Team. Dream Team specifically. I know if you look on the Mario Wiki, it says there's a hard mode for Paper Jam. That is not a hard mode. That is just a harder version of the different like missions in the game. So it's really not a true hard mode. Dream Team is the only game that has a true hard mode. And I'd really like to see that return here. Like, it's definitely a shame that Dream Team is one of the few Mario RPGs that actually has a proper hard mode. It's good that it has it, but I'd like to see it in more Mario RPGs and everything. But basically, this makes the enemies stronger, action commands stricter, and you could only carry a limited amount of items. There's no retry options when battling enemies. So I think this would definitely be a great feature to see in Mario and Luigi Brothership. Like, maybe even have it like, you could either have it like unlocked when you beat the game, or have it like there from the start for people who want to go in with like more of a challenge for like series veterans who've played the other games. So I feel like it would definitely be a great feature to have. But I think out of all the features that I'm mentioning in this video, this might be one of the least likely, because Nintendo doesn't really like to have hard modes in a lot of Mario games. Like, when we look at Wonder or the Super Mario RPG remake, really the only difficulty options are normal or easy mode. They really aren't adding like any challenging options aside from like new, more challenging content. So I think it's definitely a little less likely that we'll get an actual hard mode here, but I'd love to see it. So another thing And this is definitely something that's pretty likely unless this game has like its own like replacement of it, because we did see like a separate currency that might be comparable to this. But this is beans. And beans have been a thing in every other Mario and Luigi game. They have different purposes, like in Partners in Time you could use them to buy badges, and then in like the latest 3 games you use them to like upgrade your stats. So I think beans could be utilized in a similar way to like Dream Team or Bowser's Inside Story, but there's also possibilities that they could do other things with them as well. So yeah, I'd like to see that return since it's a series staple, but yeah. And another thing that I'd actually like to see changed from the other games is Bowser not being the main villain or the final boss, nor would I want him to be a direct ally as well, since I feel like that definitely has been utilized quite a lot in recent Mario RPGs. I'd honestly like to see him have a role similar to his role in Thousand Year Door, where he's like a minor antagonist and also has his own like side story, but not like not directly the main villain or the final boss, because Bowser has technically been in the final boss like in any shape or form in every Mario and Luigi game. I know technically in Bowser's Inside Story, it's technically like more of like Boffle and the Dark Star rather than Bowser himself, because you're technically playing as Bowser there, just you're fighting against a clone of Bowser, but it's still Bowser in some shape or form. So I'd like to see them do something else in this game rather than just Bowser again. Like have the new villain or like have some form of the new villain as the final boss rather than Bowser, because I feel like it's getting pretty repetitive at this point. And I'd rather them go more in the direction of Paper Mario with like Thousand Year Door, Super Paper Mario, and Origami King with like completely different villains as the final boss. I mean, the Mario and Luigi series, like looking at it narratively, like Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, and Bowser's Inside Story, like, even though they have Bowser involved with the final boss, they all technically were the main villains of the story that you were fighting. So I'd like to see that realized in like probably like a more interesting way, or kind of like a more evolved way, like not directly tied with Bowser. But yeah, that's one like big thing that I'd like to see changed with this game. And another thing are optional tutorials, similar to how Paper Jam had them. Since when there are tutorials in a Mario and Luigi game that are unskippable, it can kind of slow down the pacing of the game. Like Dream Team, even though I absolutely love Dream Team, it's one of my favorite games in the series, that is one of my only flaws with it. So I feel like tutorials should really be optional here. I think they were optional in the remakes as well, or at least had like other optional tutorials that you could do. So I'd like to see that in this game as well. And another thing, kind of like a little smaller thing that some people may not realize were kind of in other games, are special enemies. So special enemies are a thing in both Paper Jam and the Mario RPG remake, and they give out extra EXP, I think extra coins as well. I know in the Mario RPG remake they give out frog coins. So I think if this game has its own version of special enemies, I think that would be pretty cool. Like maybe they could treat them kind of similarly to like shiny Pokemon, or well, not quite that rare, but have like a slightly different coloration of them, or have like a shiny effect around them, or kind of like the shiny paper enemies from Paper Jam, or I think the special enemies in Mario RPG. I'm not sure if they had an indication or not. I know they had like a name indication. And also kind of similar to like the Amazy Daisies from the first 2 Paper Mario games as well. So I'd like to see some form of that in this game. And another thing And I feel like this almost goes without saying, because this is something that really everyone wants from a Mario & Luigi game, and that's music by Yoko Shimomura. She has composed every other Mario & Luigi game, including the remakes, and also composed Super Mario RPG, and also was one of the composers for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. So I think it would be amazing if she composed the soundtrack of Mario & Luigi Brothership, and I definitely think it is pretty likely that she will be involved, considering the fact that she was involved with the Mario RPG remake and everything. So yeah, I'm just really hoping she's involved, because she makes some excellent music, and it's just absolutely incredible, like throughout the Mario & Luigi series. But yeah, the final thing that I'd like to see from this game, that may or may not be confirmed already, are multiple variations of Bros attacks. Like, either choosing between a quicker, snappier attack, like from Superstar Saga, and to some degree Partners in Time, that uses less BP and can be adjusted to be easier or harder, or also longer, drawn-out Bros attacks, like Dream Team and Paper Jam, that cost more BP. I think it would be cool if there were like more options available like that. Like the longer drawn out ones could almost be kind of like treated like some kind of special move, like from Thousand Year Door, or the trio moves from Paper Jam, or also like the trio attacks in Super Mario RPG. They could possibly treat them in that sort of way. But I think that would be pretty cool if there was like more options in terms of Bros attacks. There are more command blocks in battle this time, and there was kind of a difference between like the different Bros attacks they showed in the trailer. Like one of them was kind of like a Superstar Saga-esque hammer attack, like, and then the other was kind of like an evolution of the 3D red shell, and there was also like one with Luigi as well. I think that was like a green shell one. So that seems to be more of like a longer drawn out one. So I think we could definitely see like a mixture of the two ideas here, and like have it where you could choose between them. I just think that would be really cool, and would definitely be like a change of pace. Okay, so I lied. There are more things that I want, but these ones are less necessary and less likely, but I still want them anyway, so I'm gonna mention them in this video. And one of them is a Bowser's Minions type mode. Kind of like either Bowser's Minions from the Superstar Saga remake, or like the Bowser Jr.'s Journey mode from like the Bowser's Inside Story remake. And I think it would be pretty cool if they had something like that, since there was a lot of criticism from the other from those modes and everything. So I'd like to see that concept approved upon, and kind of like built off of and everything, like, because they flesh out like a lot of the characters quite a lot. Like Bowser Jr.'s Journey fleshes out the Koopalings. They also show the sides of enemies that you normally don't see in Mario games. Like, I know you do get like characters that are like based on pre-existing enemies, but it's cool seeing like how Bowser's minions interact and everything. So I think it would be cool if we got like another mode like that, but with significantly better gameplay. And one final thing is like characters from the rest of the Mario universe. Characters like Wario, Waluigi, Daisy, different things like that. Because we really don't see that much in the Mario RPGs. Like, we really just get the basic Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, sometimes Bowser Jr. and Kamek and the Koopalings. We really get the bare minimum in terms of, like, pre-established main Mario characters. So, I'd like to see them build off of that more and add more characters. The only reason why I couldn't see them doing this as much is because of the emphasis on new characters. I feel like these games often want to highlight kind of like a simplistic view of these characters, only have like a limited scope of existing Mario characters, and have them interact more with like more like new and original characters and everything. And the Mario & Luigi series is a little better with having extended series characters, or like central kind of important Mario characters than like series like Paper Mario is with it, since we at least get characters like Toadsworth, even though he's pretty much up for debate in this game, considering his status. But also, like, Professor Egad has appeared in, like, a couple Mario and Luigi games, so it is a little better about series representation than other Mario RPGs, but I'd still like to see it expanded upon a little more. But yeah, those are things that I'd like to see in Mario and Luigi Brothership. Some of those are aspects that are in other Mario and Luigi games, but some of them are changes that I want to see, and some of them haven't been confirmed in the trailer yet. So we could see them at some point, like leading up to release and everything. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.